Water drips from his fingers. The crowd screams for blood. Pontius Pilate washes his hands and steps back from the most famous execution in history. But after that day, he vanishes from the Bible. What really happened to him? In this video, we're tracking every clue, from the Gospels and Acts to Roman historians and archaeology, all the way to the legends some churches still honor today. Picture Judea in the year 26, hot, restless Roman boots on Jewish soil.
Look at him beg!
Pilate arrives as prefect, the man with absolute power over life and death. 5 or 6 years later, Passover week, everything explodes. The chief priests drag a bloodied Galilean before him at dawn. Accusation, treason against Caesar. Pilate steps onto the pavement, eyes the prisoner.
Are you the king of the Jews?
Jesus answers quietly.
You have said so.
Pilate paces, he finds no crime. Then a servant slips him a scroll from his wife Claudia.
Have nothing to do with that innocent man. I have suffered much today in a dream because of him.
He tries one last escape. Custom says, release one prisoner, Jesus or Barabbas.
What shall I do with Jesus called Christ? Crucify him!
He washes his hands.
I am innocent of this man's blood. See to it yourselves.
He hands Jesus over. Soldiers strip him, throw on a scarlet robe, press thorns into his head, mock him as king, spit, strike. Then the long walk to Golgotha. Next morning, the priests want guards at the tomb.
Take a guard. Go, make it secure as you know how.
And just like that, the Bible drops him from the story. What became of him in the years that followed, the ship to Rome, the new emperors, the legends that still divide East and West. That's the fate we're chasing. The Bible closes the book on him right there, but the rest of the world was just getting started. Philo of Alexandria, a Jewish philosopher who actually lived during Pilate's time, didn't hold back. He described him as stubborn, cruel, and a man who went out of his way to insult and provoke the Jewish people. Then there's the first-century Jewish historian Josephus. He wrote down 2 key events that show how far things had gone. Pilate took money straight from the temple treasury to build an aqueduct. When the people poured into the streets in protest, he sent soldiers dressed as ordinary citizens right into the crowd. Clubs came out. People were beaten to death where they stood. 3 years after the crucifixion, it finally boiled over. A group of Samaritans climbed Mount Gerizim, full of hope that a prophet would reveal ancient holy vessels buried there for centuries. Pilate saw them as a threat and sent in the cavalry. The attack was brutal. Bodies piled up fast. Their leaders were executed on the spot. The survivors went straight to the Roman governor of Syria, Vitellius. He had seen enough of the chaos. He gave the order. Pilate was to sail to Rome immediately and answer directly to Emperor Tiberius. So after 10 years as governor, Pilate left Judea for good and boarded a ship from Caesarea. By the time he reached Italy, everything had changed. Tiberius was dead. It was March of 37 AD, and the new emperor on the throne was Caligula. Young, unpredictable, and already known for executing people on far less serious charges. The man who once held the power of life and death in Judea now stood before a far more dangerous ruler with no friends and no province left to protect him.
10 years in Judea, and still your hands return stained. The Samaritans gathered armed beneath a prophet's promise. Had I delayed, it would have become open insurrection. That is the record of it.
This is your record. A mountain in Samaria running red beneath Gerizim. This is your record.
It did not revolt.
No, it petitioned, it complained, it forced Rome to answer for you.
You were not recalled for cruelty. Rome tolerates cruelty. You were recalled for instability. If Rome judges my hand too heavy, Then let Rome judge it.
I am Rome, and Rome will decide whether you preserved her or merely yourself.
There are no basins for you to wash your hands here, Pilate.
Then let Rome speak.
The man who once judged others now stood measured himself, and in Rome, judgment was rarely clean. We can only imagine what words were actually spoken in that torchlit hall. But we know this time, the judge became the judged, and the story took a turn no one saw coming. That ship carried more than one disgraced governor. It carried the first threads of the mystery we're still chasing today. From here, the trail splits in two directions that still divide people 2,000 years later. Some accounts say Caligula had him executed for losing control of the province. Others claim the emperor ordered him to fall on his sword. Early church historian Eusebius, writing from older traditions, said Pilate fell into such deep misery that he took his own life around 39 AD. The stories about his body grew even darker. In one medieval legend, soldiers weighted his corpse and threw it into the Tiber River. Violent storms rose up and the river spat it back out. They tried the Rhone at Vienne. Same chaos. Finally, they sank it in a deep mountain lake in Switzerland. Locals still call that peak Mount Pilatus and say you can hear his ghost raging across the water whenever storms roll in. But travel east and the entire story flips. In Coptic and Ethiopian tradition, the miracles right after the crucifixion, the midday darkness, the temple veil torn in two, the earthquake, the saints who appeared alive in Jerusalem, shook Pilate awake. Ancient texts say he stood before Caligula, refused to deny what he had seen, and was beheaded for his new faith. In another version, he and his wife Procla were crucified together and buried near Jesus' tomb. Today, the Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church still honors Pontius Pilate and Claudia Procla as saints and martyrs. Their feast day is June 25th. Walk into one of their churches and you'll see their icons glowing beside the cross. A Roman governor turned holy witness. Skeptics once said maybe Pilate never even existed. Then, in 1961, Italian archaeologists digging at Caesarea pulled a limestone block from the dirt. The inscription still reads, Pontius Pilate, prefect of Judea. The only artifact with his name from the exact years he ruled. History gives us the stone. Tradition gives us the split road. One path ends in disgrace and restless water. The other ends with golden halos and incense, and every single version circles back to that bronze basin. And the question he asked while the innocent man stood right in front of him. So did Caligula end him? Did he take his own life in exile? Was his body cursed by rivers until it found a mountain lake? Or did the man who washed his hands finally open them to the truth he once questioned? The water dried centuries ago. The blood he tried to wash away still stains every telling. He recognized innocence, then yielded to fear of the crowd and fear of Caesar. He asked the right question.
What is truth?
Then walked away from the answer, standing right in front of him. When conviction collides with pressure, what we choose echoes forever. Pilate's chapter closed. But the story he helped write was only beginning. The tomb he guarded stayed empty. The message he tried to silence spread like wildfire. If this video made the familiar story feel brand new by finally chasing what happened to the man who washed his hands, smash that like button. Subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss the next chapter. Drop one word in the comments, truth, if Pilate's question hit you today. Or tell me, do you think he ever found the answer after the cross?